Hey guys, Maria here. Today I'm coming at you with my updated makeup collection. If you've been watching my videos for a long time, then you know at some points I've had quite a bit of makeup, most of which I wasn't really using. And today I'm going to actually show you what I would consider for me to be a very much minimalist, low number makeup collection. This is pretty close to my ideal collection. In some areas I actually wouldn't mind having a few more items, but for the most part I think this is what would make me pretty happy to stay at this kind of a level. In fact, I don't even really consider the amount of things I have a collection anymore. I think that term probably doesn't really apply to me. I think it's more of a stash. It's just products that I regularly use. I don't really have too many things that I own anymore that I don't use on a at least somewhat regular basis. A couple things I want you to keep in mind before we start looking through products. Number one, I didn't get to this amount of things overnight. I went from having quite a lot of things to the amount of makeup I have now. I'll link one of my former makeup collection videos kind of at the top, but I had got to the point where the amount of products I owned really overwhelmed me, and to have gone from that to where I am now would have also overwhelmed me. It happened over a course of several years, and slowly decluttering the things that I just realized either number one, didn't work for me, number two, didn't really bring me much joy or happiness. I didn't like using them. Or number three, I never ever used. I would tell myself I was going to use some of those, but then I never did. So slowly over several years, I would get rid of a little bit here and there until it's got me to where I am today. So if you have a collection right now that kind of overwhelms you, don't feel like you have to get to a point where it doesn't overwhelm you in one day or even in 1 or 2 months. Take your time, get rid of things as you feel comfortable, and that's when you're going to get to a point kind of where I am, where I'm really happy with the amount of things I have right now. The second thing I want you to keep in mind as we're looking through products together is that over the last few years I've transitioned into buying only cruelty-free makeup for the most part. I won't say I've not bought any products that are not cruelty-free in the last couple years, because I have, but they're very rare. And I really try not to do that anymore. I do still own some products that are not cruelty-free that I mostly had purchased or received before I started doing that. So just keep that in mind as well. If you guys have any questions on either of the things I just talked about, please feel free to leave a comment, because I will be glad to chat with you and to answer any questions you have on those things. So first I'm going to show you how I keep my makeup stored on a day-to-day basis, and then let's go through my makeup stash together. I first wanted to start by showing you the items I use every day for getting ready, how I'm storing my makeup. So this is an acrylic container. I believe I purchased this at either Marshall's or TJ Maxx. This is a separate container that's just sitting on the top there. And essentially all three of these drawers have different items. The bottom one has my eye makeup, the middle one has my base or my face makeup, and the top one is strictly brushes. I pull each of those out and I just sit them on my bathroom vanity while I'm getting ready. Any makeup that I'm not currently using on a daily basis lives in my linen closet. I have an acrylic container here that I just store the rest of my makeup in. I have a box with some palettes I'm not currently using. I've got my brushes, and then I've got all my lip products in this acrylic container. I think I also got both of these from TJ Maxx or Marshall's. I can't remember which one, but both of those stores normally carry similar containers. As a quick overview, this is all of my makeup products in one place together. I apologize for the glare coming off of that acrylic container, but this is everything I currently have. My acrylic container. In the bottom I have my base or my face products. So currently I have this Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. It's the liquid formula in the shade Moonstone. I have a deluxe sample of this Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. And I have two Bare Minerals matte formulas here. One of these is in the shade Golden Fair and one is Fairly Light. Golden Fair matches me much better, but they didn't have that shade when I bought Fairly Light. I also have some Laura Mercier. This is the translucent setting powder. I really like this a lot. I wish Laura Mercier was cruelty-free. And finally, I have my Bare Minerals Bare Skin Concealer. The shade I have is just the shade Light. It's almost too dark for me. I can get away with it in the summer, but when I repurchase, I will purchase the lighter shade. I can't remember what it's called. It might be called Fair. In the next drawer up, this is all of my eye products except for palettes. Up first is my single shadows. This one's from Urban Decay. This is in the shade Lounge, and it's kind of like a pressed version of MAC's Blue Brown Pigment. It's got a really nice shift to it. Then I have NARS Himalaya. I really enjoy this shadow quite a bit. This is the color on that. It's a really pretty shadow. And then the last two I have are these L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadows. I have this shade here, which is Amber Rush, and I also have Iced Latte. I like both of those a lot. I don't use them a ton, so those are probably one of the next things we'll end up getting decluttered. For brow products, I only have 3. So I have 2 of these e.l.f. brow gels, and then I also have, this is the Benefit Gimme Brow, and I have the shade, the dark brown shade, but I do like it quite a bit. For eyeliners, I have 2 liquid liners I'm currently working through. One is the Physicians Formula Eye Booster, and then I also have the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Trooper. And then I have 2 eyeliner pencils. I have the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in Perversion, and then I also have the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil, and that's in the shade Vice. It's like a purple shimmery color. The eye primer I'm currently using is NYX Proof It. It's a waterproof eyeshadow primer. I have really oily lids, but I love this eyeshadow primer. It's really good and it's super affordable. And then everything else is mascaras. I do have a couple of sharpeners up here that I don't get a lot of use out of, but I don't really want to get rid of those in case I do need to sharpen something. This is the only mascara I currently have open. This is from NARS. It's their Audacious mascara. I like this okay. It's not my favorite and I wouldn't buy it, but it came in a set. I got the Lash Stash from Sephora in February. This here is an Estee Edit. This is called the Edgiest. It's just a double-edged mascara, double-sided mascara. I also have the Better Than Sex from Too Faced mascara. I've used this before and I don't really like it, but I will use it up. This top container here contains all of my like blush or cheek products. So this is all of the highlighters I own. I don't really count this one from Becca because I'm using it as a face primer. I have this highlighter in Becca. This is Moonstone. I have the Laura Mercier. This is the Matte Radiance shade Highlight. And then I have this chubby stick from Clinique. It's in the shade Hefty Highlight. I don't use this a ton. It really needs to get used up pretty soon. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to use it up before it goes bad, but I do like it a lot. And then this is all of my blushes. So I'm just going to kind of show these to you quickly. I have the one I'm working on in my Project Pan Essentials right now. This is a deluxe sample from Bare Minerals in the shade Beauty. I have 3 other full-size Bare Minerals blushes. This one is in the shade Ignite. I have Promise, which is like a peachy color. Ignite's more of a red. And then I also have this shade Glee, which is like a really dusty rose. It almost reminds me a little bit of Dallas, but it's not pressed. I have Benefit Dallas as well. And then from Tarte, I have Party, which was this year's birthday gift from Sephora. And then I have this shade here, which is Peaceful. Moving on to palettes, all of the palettes I own now fit in this little box. So I have the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics. I have my Naked palette that I'm currently working on for my Project Pan. I have this Bare Minerals palette. This is in the Sexy Neutrals. It's got 8 kind of neutral type shades. This is all of my singles that I have depotted. I've got it in this little Z palette container. Most of these are MAC. The only exceptions are, this is a brown from Jane Iredale. I don't know the name of it. And this is a NYX single in Over the Taupe. But the rest of these are MAC. I have Naked Lunch, Straw Harvest, Soft Brown, Satin Taupe, Quarry, Mulch, and Wedge. You can see Wedge has a good little dip in it. I've hit pan on Straw Harvest, and I've hit pan on Satin Taupe. There's a pretty good dip in Naked Lunch too, but I've barely used either of these. This is a palette I really like to travel with. It's from Tarte. This is their Showstopper clay palette. The really nice thing about this is that it contains all the stuff you would need if you're traveling. It has a blush in there, which is not my favorite color, but I can use it when I'm traveling. This is the only bronzer I own. I think it's Park Avenue Princess. It does have a highlight in here, but if I finished the rest of this that I wanted to, I would just toss these because I don't use a bronzer on a daily basis, and that highlight's not my favorite. But I love the shadows. They're all very wearable colors that can be used in a variety of ways that make sense when you're traveling. If you want a darker, smokier eye, you can definitely do that with this palette. If you need something very neutral for a day-to-day look, that works too. And the last thing I picked up most recently. This is from e.l.f. This is the Mad for Matte 2 palette. I got this when I was in New York with my best friend, but basically it's just a bunch of matte shades. The ones that I really was drawn to and that made me want to pick this up was this shade here, which is kind of like a nice dark pink, and also this purple. I had considered getting the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette because I really liked the shade similar to that in here, but I decided to get this for 10 bucks rather than spending like 40 or 50 bucks on a palette that I may never use. And I'm glad I didn't pick it up because I've only used this a couple of times. Definitely not enough times to justify a $50 palette. The last category we have left is lip items. So most of these are lipsticks and lip stains, lip glosses, all that good stuff. I do have a couple of perfumes in here. Let's start with lip balms. I have this one from Jack Black. As you can see, I've almost got it finished off. This is actually my Finish 13 by Halloween. I also have this one here from Smith's. This is in my Project Pan Essentials that I'm gonna pick up using this when I finish that one off. Back here from NYX, I have this lip lingerie. It's basically a liquid lipstick. It's in the shade Ruffle Trim. I like this okay, but I will probably end up tossing this out in about 6 more months. It's been open for a while, and I just don't get a ton of use out of it. This is the shade Pomegranate, and it's a Bite Beauty lip crayon, and I love it. It's the only red I still own. From Tarte, I have one of their Lip Surgence lip tints. This is in the shade Grateful. This is something else I picked up when I was in New York with my best friend. This is a Pro Lip Cream palette from NYX. I have it in the shade The Plums, and I really, really love this so much. It has a lot of great shades. These are mostly reds. This is a red too. These are 2 more plummy type shades, and I get really good use out of this. I really love this shade in particular. It's a really pretty plum color, but I would consider picking up another one of these if I used up some more of my lipsticks. Okay, these are all the lipsticks I currently own. I only have a couple left from MAC. This one is Peach Blossom. I also have MAC Hug Me. It looks weird because it's got a wax bloom on it. That's not mold. It's still usable, but this is in the shade Hug Me. Of course, I have MAC's infamous Rebel. From Urban Decay, I have this shade here, which I love. It's my favorite lipstick. It's in the shade Sheer Liar. And then I have 2 from Revlon that I bought before I went cruelty-free. This is Pink in the Afternoon. And this is Sassy Mauve, which Courtney K actually gave to me. If you're not subscribed to her channel, you definitely should be. And then the last 2 things I have right here are just lip exfoliators from e.l.f. Alright guys, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate all of you who subscribe, comment, and like my videos. If you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you subscribe, so feel free to click the subscribe button below. And if you've recently posted a makeup collection, feel free to leave a comment below with a link to that video in it so that my subscribers can check it out, but I would also love to look at it myself. I will see you guys next time. Bye.